Hey guys, Professor Bill Comic Book University, Wonder Twins, issue number 5. Could this be the best comic book title on the market today? In the spirit of comics, one would have to argue yes, but let's see what others can argue. This is called Wonder Twins and the Magic and the... Here's the part I don't like. I don't know what that word is. What is that word? Can anybody see what the hell that word is? I don't know what the hell that is. Y'all need to fix that. That's the one problem I have with this comic book. All right, writer Mark Russell, artist and cover artist Stephen Byrne. Variant cover artists Emanuela Lupacchino, Ray McCarthy, and Rex Locus. Dave Sharp on letters, and Superman gets a reference in here, commentary about Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster being his creators. I saw the Phantom Zone at one point. I didn't see anything else about Superman, so whatever. This was a solid comic book, man. Basically, it's the end of the Legion of Annoyance, the League of Annoyance. Great fight between the Wonder Twins and the League, and the best total refreshment call out ever. And this is just a really good fight. There was some fun in it. Great art, amazing art in this. This was really good. The rest of this is the part where there's going to be some people who are going to complain. A lot of people think that comic books and movies and media, like newsprint, especially, like novels, need to keep a certain subtext, all right? It's fiction. We want to go in a fantasy world, and we don't want to be hindered by the realities of the world. Yeah, okay. This, I don't know what to tell you, man. When I watch X-Men 2, and I see Bobby Drake, Iceman's parents, say to him something to the effect of, have you ever tried to not be a mutant? Sounds an awful lot like that comment that used to at least always be made. Have you ever tried not being gay? And how subtle was that? Like, honestly, how subtle was that when the exact same words are being used? How subtle was that, really? Not very, but it was perfect. It was just the slightest bit of innuendo in that. Slightest. And it worked so well. It was enough that I think everybody, for the most part, could watch that and say, oh, shoot. And suddenly realize that gay bashing, as we used to call it back in the 80s, kind of messed up, right? What are we attacking people for? So this comic book does something very similar. It mentions a black man who's a Nobel Prize can't get justice, then nobody can. No black man can. Oh my God, that was so overt. We don't need, Black Lives Matter wasn't mentioned, like all that. You know what I'm saying? No names like Philando Castile, God rest his soul. What have you? Trayvon Martin, God rest his soul. You know what I'm saying? No, can't remember the name. It kills me. There's so many of these instances I can't remember everybody's name. The little 12-year-old kid, you know what I'm saying, who was shot. 2 seconds. The cop pulls right up on him, gets out the car, shoots him 2 seconds later. No wonder it looked like something wrong. Y'all did the worst thing possible. Oh, he was a rookie. Well, it wasn't the rookie who was driving, who rolled right up on the kid, gangster style, driving through the park. Jesus. Sorry, man. There's a whole lot wrong in the world right now. Just recently, a black family, their little 4-year-old kid, they're at a dollar store. The parents say, no, you can't have this imitation Barbie knockoff doll. The kid puts it in her backpack. They get to their apartment. The cops drive up, you know what I'm saying, and they pull out their guns, threaten to put a cap in their ass over a 99-cent. Is that usually how that works? Yo, world sucks right now. And there ain't a whole lot of innuendo. And a whole lot of people who are doing these crimes aren't getting in trouble for them. So there's that. Listen, I don't look at the other comic book channels. All right, I try not to because I don't need to stress myself out, or I don't need to accidentally imitate, some of the things that they do, like, Rob Explains and the Comic Story and all this. I don't watch all these other channels because no. But then there are also the scumbag channels out there, and I try not to watch them either. If I'm looking through through Twitter, and I see a clip was posted by like SJW Spider-Man or something like that, wow, that's messed up. And I'll try and go back and look at that video just to see it in context, to see, is this being taken out of context? No, it's not. No, it's absolutely not. So I don't know what other people are saying about this comic book. Maybe I'm the only person still reviewing this comic book. And if that's the case, that sucks, because this is a fantastic comic book. And in the spirit of what comic books and this medium actually is, it's the best comic book on the market today. All right, is the most entertaining. It's entertaining. It's not the most entertaining. But in the spirit of comic books, I stand by that statement. This is the best in the spirit of... Like, this book deserves an Eisner. This book deserves a Harvey. This book deserves... Jack Kirby Award. I'm not exaggerating when I say this, because it's bringing up social issues. And there's going to be a whole bunch of people talking about, you're an SJW. No, I'm not. I don't platform. I absolutely don't platform. I'm on a platform. This is my platform, but I'm not platforming. And I'm not here to act like that. You know, I'm not here to call people out in public and throw out names like that. All right? But I am going to say, when you call somebody an SJW in a situation like that, and there's times I'll even call somebody an SJW if they're just... Like if I use the turd, if I use the term retardation to describe somebody, you're just making fun of mentally challenged people. No, I'm making fun of that person. I'm I named that person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's a medical term. I'm using it. It's like, how is that any different than somebody saying, oh, I'm a little OCD? No, you're not. And isn't that offensive to people who actually have obsessive compulsive disorder? These are SJWs, all right? Well, they're a bunch of jackasses trying to use the term. Basically, I'm trying to bully this person, and you're telling me that I'm a jerk for bullying this person, so you're an SJW. Because I'm calling you out on bullying someone. You're going to try and bully me with words also. You've got those perfect bully terms for everybody else that will simply allow you to justify your action. You're scum. You're scum. That's all you are. You're scum. And if there are comic book channels out there who are saying, this isn't, this is too overt, this is whatever, blah, 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 without actually having watched the channel, I could say in general these people are racists. Oh, that's right. Professor Bill is going there. I'm going to tell you straight out, the biggest pansy, lightweight, soft, look, the left has its problems, but right now the right is out of control. I'm embarrassed to say that I used to be a Republican back in the day. I'm hugely embarrassed, not just a conservative, like a Republican conservative, man. I'm hugely embarrassed to say stuff like that today. Now, that used to be the case because the right wing is out of control, man. You got maybe 2% of the right wing that actually has a head on their shoulders. The rest have lost their damn minds. So it's hard to insult the freaking left anymore because there's too much craziness going on the right. Where somebody can look at this comic book and say, we don't need this nonsense, man. Like, what about black on black crime? Break that down. What's that mean? Cops should therefore be allowed to shoot black people because black people shoot other black people? Doesn't take a whole lot of thought to break that talking point down, does it? What about Chicago? What about Chicago? What about Chicago exactly? Please explain what you mean by what about Chicago. Whole argument breaks down right there. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. There's going to be people who are going to sit here and they're going to sit there and call me names and whatever. And your mom, basically, like, you crack jokes if you want. Call me what you want. I'm okay with it. I'm pretty sure that if I ever had a drill sergeant who talked in his sleep, he cracked better insults by talking in his sleep than you could ever do awake. So that's cool, man. Bring it. I'm not worried about that at all. But as far as those right agenda comic book channels who would ever say something about this is too overt, we need more subtlety in our comic books and blah, blah, blah. I don't think you've ever actually read comic books before. I think you're a liar. That's what I think you are. And yeah, you're also a racist because you're enabling this. And there are racists who don't realize they're racist. There are the racists who walk into a restaurant and they see two black men sitting at a table and they call the police on them because they haven't ordered anything. Maybe they're casing the joint. Like, what is it about them that makes you call the police? Here's the trick. Anything that you're going to say, you're pointing the finger in the wrong direction. Every time you point a finger and say, black people such and such and such. Turn your hand upside down, see the three fingers pointing right back at you. That's the threefold law. You got to study Wicca for that. But the idea is, make no mistake, the problem is with you. You walk in and you see three black people. I'm not saying three black people with chains and bandanas and leather jacket, whatever the hell, all right? I just said three black people. If you right away imagine gangsters up there, you're a racist. You just don't realize it yet. You gotta burn that stuff out of you. You gotta burn that stuff out of you. A whole bunch of us watched regular network news media and believed that Trayvon Martin had it coming. Because that's what, not just Fox, people today, Fox News, CNN and MSNBC also towed the party line, the Republican Party line. I can't even say that. They just towed the idea, the social, keep things the way that they are. Maintain the status quo. Because if all of a sudden black people are elevated, well, what happens to my social status? I didn't grow up with that nonsense. And I'm so glad I didn't. Like, I can't tell you how happy I am that I didn't grow up with that nonsense. I genuinely still have, black friends. Dude, like, this didn't even get into Native American culture. This didn't get into Latino culture or the rest of the minority classes out there. What this came down to, I mean, just when people say, well, there are less white people nowadays, there are more minorities than white people. So white people here, non-white people there. If that's an argument that you want to make, you're a racist. Because you're lumping natives, black people, all black people, Africans, African Americans, West Indies. You're lumping Latinos, all the Latinos together. You're lumping Asians, all right? You're lumping everybody together against white people. God, don't we see how ridiculous this is? Fortunately, the vast bulk, 99.5 or more % of my viewers know my stance, agree with my stance, because they're rational. Disagreement is fine, as long as you're open-minded. I'm open-minded also. I couldn't have these beliefs if I wasn't. This comic book was hot because it's addressing something that not too many other comic books really want to address. It is what it is. And there's no reason why like an Eve Ewing has to address this and a Mark Russell can't. There's absolutely no reason for that. We got to get this mindset that of the status quo, that the status quo has put in us to maintain division amongst us. Meanwhile, all they're doing is dividing us and dividing up our money amongst themselves. That's what this is all about. And we need to just squash that so we can focus on who the real bad guy is. Just saying. This comic book does a really good job of doing that. And we've got a brand new terrifying enemy for the Wonder Twins because it's their former best friend. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.